All right, so crypto market update, Bitcoin market update. A lot of my focus lately has been on Bitcoin right now. I mean, altcoins they're kind of acting like dog crap right now. So the markets are all a little bit quiet. Um, what can we make of this Bitcoin chart? Well, there's a couple things we can make of it. A, this is the largest 1 week dollar candle that Bitcoin has ever seen. Right? Dollar wise, not percentage wise, but dollar wise. And so naturally, it had a 50% retrace. And, people are freaking out and they're saying, oh, it's the Black Swan, it's the BTCCE or whatever, BTCE. All this kind of stuff. A lot of FUD this week. And, for me, if you just remove all that FUD, that fear, uncertainty, and doubt, a 50% retrace on a 1 week candle this big is actually normal. It's natural. Probably would have happened anyways, regardless of all the FUD, right? In my opinion. So, I'm not terribly concerned. Now, could we drop lower? Sure. Right? We could drop lower. Am I going to be phased by it? Am I going to be scared by it? Not really. I'm still riding my long. My spot long. I actually don't care. Right? I'll day trade. If it dumps, I'll just keep scalping it. I'll day trade. I made some Bitcoin here on this dump. Scalping. So I'll just keep adding to my treasure stash. If it wants to just keep dumping, I'll just keep trading. And then if it dumps big enough, then if I could find an exchange that has margin that will credit me some Bitcoin Cash for any coins borrowed, then I could possibly devise an entirely new strategy and get myself some more Bitcoin Cash, which can be converted into more Bitcoin. See, I personally philosophically don't really care for Bitcoin Cash, but I'm not going to let my emotions and my personal taste and philosophy get in the way of making some money. Right? I mean, yeah, you could decide, oh, I don't want to participate. I don't want my free Bitcoin. I don't want whatever. But think about it. If you're really hardcore about Bitcoin and you could increase your entire Bitcoin stash by 10% or 20%, why wouldn't you want to do that? Right? Why would you turn up free money and just be salty? Right? That's what I think. So, it's like all the Ethereum people who were salty about ETC, and they all rage dumped. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I saw them all chanting and gloating like babies. Haha, we're dumping, ha, it's going to zero. You know what I was doing? I was buying down here, right? Because I saw an opportunity. And while they were being a bunch of emotional crybabies, I made 600 and whatever, 50%. It went up a lot. I made a lot of money in a week off of this one move. And some of the OGs in the room were with me when that happened. We even recorded a video during price discovery. And who was with me during that time? Who made a whack load of money off of this bounce, this pamp that happened? Anybody? I know a few of you were. All right, yeah, we've got some OGs in the house. This is some exciting times. I mean, OG original gangsta. I mean, it's not every day or every week that you're going to get a 650% gain. Like, look at this. From the bottom to the top. Okay, well, if you bought the absolute bottom, you're looking at 5,000%. But we didn't buy the bottom, right? That's kind of crazy. I think... where did I buy? I started buying just around 9. And I didn't necessarily sell top. Anyways, you get the point. I think I made about 650%. There's obviously more percentage gain here. But I've made about 650. Let's look at this on the daily here. Anyways, if you nailed the bottom and top, you could have made a lot more. But who did that, right? I mean, I didn't do that, but I made a lot of money during all this hype. Not only that, I mean, I sold into strength up here, and I loaded the boat up on the retracement and then did it again. I mean, it was like a 2-for-1. Right? I'm not saying that's going to happen for BCC or Bitcoin Cash or whatever you want to call it. To me, it's just another altcoin. You know, on a philosophical level, it's just another altcoin. But, I mean, I'm open to it, right? Like I said before, don't underestimate the pumping powers of Jihan and Roger Ver. I mean, these guys are the biggest Bitcoin whales you can imagine, right? I mean, Jihan's sitting on, like, a mining operation that's probably literally hundreds of millions of dollars worth of mining equipment and operation. And I think Roger Ver's got hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, right? So these guys are some of the biggest whales in the crypto space. And the biggest whale, what gave validity to this was one of the other big whales in the crypto space, being Barry Silbert, basically shilled it and gave it validity in life, you know, and said he bought it at 50 cents. The next thing you know, it went up like mad, right? So when you've got whales who are politically motivated market movers, then, you know, interesting things can happen. So I'm open to making some serious scratch. And listen, I'm being conservative. I'm saying, like, hey, if I can increase my Bitcoin stash by even 10%, that's a lot of money. I'll be a happy camper. If I can increase it by 20%, I'll be an even happier. If it did something absolutely ridiculous, like gain 46% on the price of Bitcoin, like Ethereum Classic did to Ethereum, I mean, that would just be ridiculous. That's like increasing my entire Bitcoin portfolio by 45%. Let me tell you something. I've made a lot of money off of altcoins, but I've never gone all in an altcoin, right? Some people say, oh, I've made like 10x on an altcoin, 20x, 50x, this and that. Yeah, I get it. But did you go all in, right? Did that 10x increase your entire Bitcoin portfolio, including your long-term investment, by 50%? Did it do that, right? And if you did go all in, then I'd say you probably got really lucky, because that's a pretty risky move, in my opinion. It's a little too much risk for my taste. Most of those altcoins that are going up ridiculous, you know, 40x gains or whatever, are completely illiquid, right? I couldn't even go in on one of these altcoins. Maybe some of the more liquid ones, yes. Like, obviously, like Dash pulled off some ridiculous moves, right? Ethereum did some ridiculous moves. So yeah, if you were kind of like an altcoin maximalist or really hardcore about altcoins, then it's possible you might have even performed better than I did during this bubble, right? I've been kind of conservative. I never really dipped down below 50% of my portfolio. That's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin always comprises of the majority of my portfolio, because for me, it's time tested and true, right? and the brutal harsh reality of altcoins, right? When you're in a position like I am, and you get to see behind the scenes the people creating all these ICOs or whatever, get to know some of these people, you realize behind the curtain that people are just printing out their own money, right? They're just making money out of thin air like candy. Insta wealth, right? Insta whales. Snap your fingers, lickety split, boom. Right? And then you start to become really, really cynical. And then you don't want to invest in any ICO or anything for that matter. Right? I mean, when you really think about it, investing in an ICO, you kind of have to be a bit of a sucker to do it. And I'm talking about myself too. Listen, I've invested in ICOs, obviously. Right? The last one was Tezos. I gave him my hard-earned Bitcoin. Right? Because I thought it was an interesting project, but I did it still full well knowing that I'm a sucker for doing it. Right? Because I just handed somebody my hard-earned, hard-hustled Bitcoin, right? Which is, in my opinion, is real crypto money, to someone who's just creating monopoly money out of thin air. I mean, just really, really think about that for a second, right? Take the red pill, right? And just really think about that for a second. Let that sink in. People are literally creating tokens out of thin air that costs them nothing. Not a single cent it costs them to create a token. Absolutely nothing. Okay? They're keeping huge amounts of the supply for themselves. 10%, 20%, whatever. And creating instant wealth. And then selling it to everyone else. Here, buy my bags. I just create some crypto trinket. Buy it. Here you go. And then it hits the exchanges and they're illiquid. I mean, I still trade them and I'll still invest or whatever, but I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid here, folks. That's why I've been super picky on any ICOs, right? I've been extremely picky. Also, not to mention during a regulatory gray zone, but I mean, like, even look at something like BAT, okay? You had people, literally, I think someone paid $3,000 in Ethereum fuel to race everyone else. Okay, $3,000. Guy's off his bloody rocker. So he could get in on BAT before everyone else. Right? As a BAT whale. Oh, I'm going to give him millions of dollars of money to be a BAT whale. Look how illiquid this order book is. Look at this garbage. I mean, yeah, I bought some BAT recently down here, right? I bought some BAT, sure. I'll trade it. I'll trade garbage. I don't care. There's a reason why I call it all shit coins, right? So I become non-attached, right? That dude made over $9 million. Really? Can that dude actually get $9 million out of this market right now? Where do I see $9 million on buy support without crashing the price to zero? Right? I mean, $9 million of paper money. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, okay, yeah, maybe in the future it might become like a next Ethereum and become liquid and get volume, and then he'll be making like, $100 million or whatever. Like, obviously Ethereum investors did really well. And listen, I'm not saying that I don't invest in token sales. I'm not saying that I don't trade the tokens, right? What I am saying, though, is if you're going to do it, make darn sure that, number one, it's a good project, and don't just chase every Mickey Mouse hype that's out there with all these white papers and glossy vaporware and all that stuff. And number two, full well knowing, just know what you're doing. Just be completely sober and aware that you're giving someone your money for something they've created out of thin air. Just acknowledge the reality for what it is. And if you decide to participate in one, at least then you're doing it with a sober mind and not drinking Kool-Aid. But even if this guy made $9 million in paper profit, there's not a bloody snowy chance in hell that he's going to get $9 million out of this market. I bet you that guy could crash the price with zero with a tenth of what he bought, right? So I'm cynical, guys. I'm cynical, but you know what? Cynicism has kept me solvent, right? Cynicism has kept me ahead of the game. He might have. He might have gotten $2 million out, $9 million out, or it's possible. Maybe it was him who dumped all of this. You know, maybe this is just him dumping. Maybe he was smart. I also heard some guy spent thousands of dollars and didn't even get in. Got rejected, didn't even get to participate, just blew money. Right? So, I mean, we'll see, right? I'm not saying that anything. Maybe he's going to be super rich from it, right? But what I am saying is that when everybody and their grandmother is launching a token sell and an ICO, right? And there's a new one every week. Everybody's got their hand out. They want some free money, right? And, you know, the markets are getting flooded with new tokens every single week. What value does that really have? I mean, all the markets are being diluted. And then the SEC comes out with the recent ruling. Well, that's just, maybe that ruling is just like almost like a precursor, right? Maybe it's just like putting people on notice. What happens if they actually start cracking down on ICOs? What happens if people start going to jail? What do you think's going to happen to all these big ICOs when that kind of stuff happens? I don't want that to happen. I believe in the free market, right? I believe in the free market, and I do think that crowd sales do have a benefit and a purpose. You know, if you're running a foundation and giving away free open source software and technology, then you should be in a free market and be able to raise whatever funds you need, right? You just have to, you know, you're just swapping like one token for another token, right? I personally don't even see any harm in that. I know there's a lot of scams out there. I know there's a lot of pumpers and a lot of vaporware and all that stuff. But USA has no voice to non-USA people. That's actually not true at all. You know, tell that to Kim Dotcom, who's never even been to the States, right? According to them, you serve one US client and you're on their radar. They could hunt you down anywhere, right? Hey, they went after Mt. Gox for not operating a money operator service, right? They went after Mt. Gox. They just recently went after BTCE, right? I mean, they can go after any business they want, right? They control the guns and the bombs. They're like the world government. They'll go after anybody. They don't care, right? So, just because, you know, the New York bit license, check this out. The New York bit license, you know, New York, okay, forget about just the states. One state created legislation and basically said, anybody who services a New York residence is bound by this New York bit license. So we have a lot of students from New York who can't access any good exchange, really. They can access a handful, GDAX and maybe Gemini, and that's about it. Because of this legislation that claims to have jurisdiction and authority over people who don't even live in New York or don't even live in the States, over companies. You could be in Hong Kong. So all these companies blacklisted New York. Okay, we're not doing business with you, right? The same thing's happening with the States. A lot of companies, a lot of token sales, they're blacklisting the States, right? Because of these overreaching jurisdictions, right? Now, I'm not saying yay or nay. I'm just telling you how it is, right? I'm just telling you what's been transpiring in the Bitcoin and crypto space the past few years, right? Since the bit license. So, you know, unfortunately for New York residents, they get caught in the crossfire and they can't trade on a lot of different exchanges. And we get that question a lot. What exchange could I trade altcoins on? And I've really kind of looked into it, and I haven't really seen a lot of good options that aren't really sketchy. You know, there's some, like, maybe some smaller ones. Maybe try Cryptopia or something, but I don't know. I really don't know, right? A lot of them have just blocked, and then even like margin trading and stuff, a lot of them are blocked too, right? So it's important to kind of look. It's important to look at the fundamentals. Like, we can go into technicals all day long, but I also sometimes these market updates, we got to touch upon the fundamentals, right? Because we're dealing with technology, we're dealing with a lot of regulatory gray zones a lot of times, and those fundamentals, these kind of black swans and all this kind of stuff, they affect the markets, right? They affect the movement of the price, right? Someone's saying we've seen 3 days of blood. Good. Hey, hallelujah. 3 days of blood and a retracement. Right? So let's see if we get some bounce here. I'm personally not phased. I'm sticking with my plan. Right? We have consensus. I was fudding when I thought the network was going to split. We have consensus. That means we're getting segregated witness. That means after segregated witness, guess what else we're getting? We're getting Lightning Network. We'll have side chains. We'll have cross atomic swaps, which will create decentralized exchanges between blockchains. Think about this as a trader, like what this is going to mean for us. Imagine trading Bitcoin to Litecoin without going through an exchange between blockchains, blockchain to blockchain through Lightning Network, right? Think about that for a second. That's going to solve such a huge problem. Shapeshift is semi-decentralized, but they're still using a decentralized exchange, right? This is like, you don't use an exchange at all. You go blockchain to blockchain, period, right? Think about that for a second. I mean, yeah, you've got decentralized exchanges like Counterparty, which is completely illiquid with a bunch of crappy tokens that are completely illiquid. You've got other blockchains like Waves that have decentralized exchanges, which is a bunch of garbage illiquid tokens that anybody just creates or whatever. I'm talking about the King Daddy blockchains, the biggest crypto blockchains, being able to communicate with each other, right? And someone says that solves the New York license issue. Just, yeah, that's all. This is massive, right? This is so incredibly huge. It's mind-blowing, right? I can't even tell you how excited I am to move past all of this drama and garbage and FUD, right? And I say all the power to Bitcoin Cash for forking off and having their own altcoin. Good riddance. Let them have it. It's a free market. I respect and value their decision to do that because I respect the free market, right? Let's just get this drama away from Bitcoin, right? So this is huge, huge. And any altcoin that will implement Lightning Network and create cross-atomic swaps with Bitcoin is probably going to have market supremacy and dominance over any other altcoin, right? So Litecoin will be the first, and Ethereum better get with the program once other altcoins start doing it. And if they don't get with the program, then maybe it's going to get left out because people are going to want to start trading decentralized, right? Why would anybody go through the hassle of using a centralized exchange when we could just trade altcoins decentralized? Right? I mean, think about it. Think of all of the problems we've had with exchanges right now, right? Waiting months to get your KYC cleared, your ID cleared so that you could start trading and send money to it. Waiting, having exchanges hacked and losing all your money, waiting around for support tickets that never get answered, being at the mercy to these third parties. I mean, all of this stuff pretty much it completely violates the entire purpose of Bitcoin, right? So what's going to happen when we could all just actually trade blockchain to blockchain? It's going to be revolutionary. It's going to be one of the biggest things we've ever seen in the crypto space. You think it's going to be true peer-to-peer? You think that all these Mickey Mouse ICOs with their vaporware white papers that never deliver anything are revolutionary? Wait till we see something actually working products that are revolutionary, right? This is the stuff we need. We absolutely need this technology. This is why I'm all for segregated witness, right? This is going to bring people coming all the way back to King Daddy Bitcoin as the reserve currency, right? I'm very, very excited about this. I have completely shifted my gears into going back to trade to accumulate and invest in more Bitcoin. I don't give a flying kite if this stuff dumps all the way down to $1,300. I will trade this stuff right into the gutter, the absolute gutter, and continue accumulating more Bitcoin. You want to dump down to $1,300? Good. You want to dump down to triple digits again? Good. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take some of that money in my bank. I'm going to put it back into Bitcoin. I'm going to re-aggressively accumulate. Good. I don't care. Right? I absolutely love it. What's coming with the tech and stuff. I'm bullish as an investment, long-term investment. I'm in this for the long game. Right? I want to see where Bitcoin's going to be in 5 to 10 years. You know, with this kind of technology, Bitcoin's going to not only eat the lunch of altcoins that don't get with the program, it's going to eat the lunch of global markets. Right? Global markets. In my opinion, that's my opinion. Right? But my opinion is also backed by, 8 years of 8 years of data. Right? So if it wants to dump and people want to dump it, whatever. All the power. They want to crap their diapers over the next Black Swan event. Let them crap their diapers. You think I care anymore? That's where I make all my money, day trading. Right? I'll day trade this stuff right down to the dust. Right down to $80 if I have to. I don't care. Right? That's my resolve. So that's how I feel about Bitcoin. That's just my personal opinion right now. And so be it. Take it how you will. Maybe you feel differently, right? Maybe you have a different opinion. That's okay, right? People don't have to just blindly believe in my opinion. Fact check anything I say. Make your own decisions. Do your due diligence. See if it makes logical sense to you. If it doesn't, then you're free to say, hey, Rocky, you're full of it. I think you're full of it. Maybe it dumps and whatever, and maybe I am full of it. But hey, you know what? This attitude has allowed me to hold HODL, my Bitcoin, all throughout 2015 and 16, right? And listen, we've had Black Swan event after Black Swan event after Black Swan event. And yes, Bitcoin is in new highs. Absolutely. Yes, it had a big violent shakeout and correction. Absolutely. But so much of this was FUD generated from a possible network split. And, I can stomach just about any Black Swan event, any exchange getting hacked, this and this and this and this and that. But when you're talking about an actual network split, when you're talking about something that can actually hurt the Bitcoin network and turn it into the MySpace of crypto, then yes, that's definitely worth paying attention to, right? When we're dealing with on a protocol level. But for me, after watching 2 years of drama on Bitcoin and infighting and bickering and all this stuff and threats and this and that, for me to see that we're in consensus after 2 years, after 2 years of Bitcoin having increased in price and broke into new highs, right? Um, I'm more bullish than ever. If Bitcoin can do this in spite of the worst FUD it's ever experienced, on the worst fundamental FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. This isn't surface level exchange hack and Mickey Mouse, call the CEO of Bitcoin kind of garbage. This is like, destroy the network kind of garbage, like this is a big deal to have consensus. I mean, I think this is a big deal for Bitcoin, right? Investment wise, and I'll weather any storm and I'll just keep on accumulating, right? I pulled my risk capital out and profit out into my bank, and I will gladly flip the switch and buy dirt cheap bloody Bitcoin. If they want to capitulate all their coins, I will flip the switch, take all that money out of my bank, not all of it, but a good chunk of it, and scoop up and gobble up some cheap Bitcoin. Let's do it all over again. I don't care. Right? That's how I feel. That's my resolve right now. Strong hands prevail. People want to crap their diapers over a BTCE or whatever on a 50% retrace. I say, on the biggest, largest, what do people expect? Right? What do people expect on the largest dollar 1 week candle? What, we don't expect a retrace? Seriously? Like it's just going to keep on going up? I would be more concerned if we didn't have a retrace. If it just kept on going up and up and up, then I'd be like, oh man, this isn't healthy, right? We're going completely parabolic here. This isn't good, right? Everyone's, it's $1,000 candle. And everyone's crapping their diapers that we had a retrace. I bet you we would have retraced regardless of the BTC news. People always want to attribute news to whatever. Maybe it added a little fuel. Maybe it would have retraced a little less, but whatever. So I've got my game plan. I've got my resolve. Things change a lot. You got to adapt, right? Things change a lot in this industry. Look back at my market updates over here, and I was singing a much different tune. I was like, oh, I don't know. If we don't get consensus, August 1st ain't looking so hot, right? Now we have consensus, massive green candle, bought the dip, got some cheap coins. I was actually glad that I was questioning Bitcoin here. I was happy. It compelled me to shove 80% of my Bitcoin on the exchanges, hedge into cash, and buy it all back for cheaper and then some. So hallelujah. Right? I'm glad I questioned Bitcoin up here. It was a very, very profitable decision for me. Right? And now it's all off on most of it. I pulled most of it off on my Trezor, and I'm just waiting for my free helicopter money. So let's talk about that a little bit. So I get a lot of questions. If I'm sitting out in cash, is it a good time to buy again? Well, I personally can't give financial advice. I can't tell you if it's a good time to buy. I could tell you what I would do. If I was sitting in cash, I'd be buying dips. Right? I'd be buying cheaper. That's what I would do. If I had an opportunity to buy to buy whatever, 12% cheaper, 17% cheaper, I would rather buy a dip than buy back up here. That's just me if I was sitting in cash, right? And let's just say this. I bet I'm not the only trader chomping at the bit to get some free money. Okay? I must not be the only trader who's thinking this right now, an only investor. Are we going to see some market FOMO and some buying pressure leading up to August 1st? Or are we going to see FUD and dumping? Well, we might see some sell on the news, but it depends. Are we going to see sell on the news if Bitcoin's sitting on... See, this is, we got some interesting dynamics here, folks. We have some really, really interesting stuff that we got to think about here, right? Like, think of it this way. Typically, in a FOMO event, people sell on the news, right? August 1st, oh, okay, it's activated, everyone dump on the news. But we've got some different dynamics here. if a lot of people have their money squirreled away on hardware wallets, right? Because exchanges, the liquid exchanges aren't giving you Bitcoin Cash, it doesn't incentivize people to keep their Bitcoin on the exchanges, right? And after August 1st, they say, hey, don't send Bitcoin transactions for a few days, right? Well, if people's money, Bitcoin, is sitting on hardware wallets and they're not sending the transactions over to exchanges to sell in the news, are we really going to see a sell in the news event? Unless the markets, unless it's very, very illiquid, right? And some people short, there's still going to be some people just trading it who don't care, right? Who don't care about the Bitcoin Cash. There's some people for political statements who won't care about it. But all these, you know what? Think about it this way, folks. All these exchanges saying we're not supporting Bitcoin Cash, we're not. I get it. It's a political statement. But if Bitcoin Cash becomes a thing and actually gets some decent value on other exchanges, do you really think any of those exchanges aren't going to take all those Bitcoins that they're holding and split them and go cash out and make some extra money? I mean, think about this. You know, these exchangers are sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin in cold storage, right? You don't think that if they can increase hundreds of millions of dollars by 10 to 20%, that they're not going to do it, right? So is it really just like a political statement, or are they also going to monetize and cash in on this? I don't know. This is all just a hypothesis, right? This is all just possibilities and probabilities that I'm playing out here, right? I'm trying to think like a chess player. I'm trying to think like a strategist. I'm trying to think like, hey, if I ran an exchange with hundreds of millions of dollars, would I not profit and benefit by making a statement, I don't support Bitcoin Cash, and then taking all those Bitcoins and then getting, increasing them by 10 to 20%, hundreds of millions of other people's Bitcoin sitting there? Right? I don't know. Sounds like a pretty smart strategy to me if I was running a big exchange. Right? So I want to, let's just talk about this. I want to talk specifically, I'm talking about fundamentals here, but this is because fundamentals are right now in the history of crypto and Bitcoin. Fundamentals are actually the most important thing that we can talk about. Yeah, I could go out on charts and I could show you some altcoins or whatever, but altcoins aren't doing squat right now, right? I haven't seen a single altcoin that did anything interesting in the past week, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe some illiquid garbage coin on Cryptopia pumped or something, but like, who cares, right? Like whatever. Pump and dump. Poloniex, what are those coins doing right now? I look at Poloniex right now. And listen, I'm not saying altcoins aren't gonna have a nice rally or whatever once all this thing blows over. I mean, we had some new lows and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of chop, right? I look at Poloniex and I just take a quick peek. I'm seeing like approximate minus 3% on most altcoins right now, give or take. BitShares is up plus 2%. Ethereum's down minus 2.46%. Dash is down minus 4%. Next minus 1.78. Like, give me a break. Can't trade that, so I'm not even going to bother looking at that. Now, could we possibly be in a reaccumulation phase? In altcoins? Possibly. Right? We might have some low points and possibly some reaccumulation. But I don't really think it's a smart move, in my opinion, and I'm certainly not interested in doing this, and loading the boat up and getting a whole bunch of altcoins right now before August 1st, when I can get some free shitcoin, right? Some free helicopter money by doing nothing, just sitting on my hands and twiddling my thumbs and doing nothing, and I'll get some free money. And how many other people are doing that? And think about it this way. Is it possible that before August 1st, people could start dumping all their altcoins to get Bitcoin so they could get some more some more, you know, to get some more free coin. And if that does happen, don't expect it to happen the day before August 1st, because they say don't send Bitcoin transactions a few days before August 1st. So if that is going to happen, expect it to happen probably on the weekend, if it happens. I'm not saying it's going to, but like I said, I'm acting like a chess player here. I'm looking at possibilities and probabilities here, right? All right, folks, so let's go dig into the fundamentals to answer people's questions. This is a special market update, you know, because I'm getting a lot of same questions. What should I do? So on and so forth. So, you know, okay, so Bitfinex just came out with an announcement. A minority of Bitcoin miners will be forking on blah, 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 called Bitcoin Cash. We know that. There has been a variety of responses by the community about how to handle this new token. After a significant show of interest from our customers, we have decided to take steps to facilitate the distribution of Bitcoin Cash balances to those holding a settled Bitcoin balance on Bitfinex. We may also list markets for this new token, but that decision will be made after the fork event. That looks good. They're a liquid, number one most liquid Bitcoin exchange. Looks pretty good to me. I think I'm going to send some Bitcoin over back to Bitfinex so that I can trade some of whatever craziness happens. All right. Although we see the token, unfortunately, the ticker symbol is already in use by our platform, by the chain split. So they're going to use BCH. Okay, that's cool. Distribution policy. BCH will be distributed to settled Bitcoin wallet balances on the timestamp. Due to the net amount of BTC committed in margin positions at the time of the fork, the above methodology may result in Bitfinex seeking a surplus or deficit of BCH. All right, so all BTC wallet balances will receive BCH. Margin longs and BTC USD and margin shorts and excess of BTC will not receive BCH. BC margin longs and BTCs and margin longs will not pay BCH. BTC lenders will receive BCH. Okay, so that scraps my strategy, because I was going to say, if they paid out the margin longs, people who borrowed some BCH, I would actually send coins over there and margin long like right now so that I could actually get some more BCH, right? You borrow some Bitcoin and then you get some free helicopter money. That'd be nice. I'd be all over that. Okay, so good. All right, so this settles it. We have a solid, liquid Bitcoin exchange that will be supporting the split. May or may not trade it, but they'll allow you to withdraw it. So because of this, I'm going to send some of my Bitcoin over, not all of it. I'm going to keep most of it on hardware, but I'm going to send some of my Bitcoin over to Bitfinex. It's going to be my most sizable trading account out of all of them, because if we get some volatility, guess who gets to play ball, right? I'll hold Bitcoin and I'll margin trade long or short, depending on whatever volatility we get. So that just added to my game plan right now. Justin, folks, and the Newswire, right? So for anybody else who's wondering, both Trezor and Ledger Nano S are going to be supporting this. So all you have to do is keep money, keep Bitcoin on Ledger or Trezor, and you're going to get it. And so what do I need? We will provide an interface accessible from Bitcoin Trezor Wallet where you can access and safely claim your Bitcoin Cash coins. You'll be prompted by Trezor Wallet once you select Bitcoin Cash in the currency selector. Right? Great. Simple. Okay, so if you don't have a hardware wallet, What's the next best plan? This is something else I asked. Well, you don't really want to use web wallets, and you don't want to assume anything, but I guess you don't want to necessarily keep all your money on an exchange. I mean, if you had to absolutely have to, then Bitfinex is obviously an option if you didn't have any other options. You've obviously got counterparty risk, keeping all your capital. I would never put my entire portfolio on one exchange. However, I think they have an Electrum Cash wallet, right, that they're creating. So if you just download a regular Electrum wallet, you'll be given a seed. And if you keep that, if you get that seed, all right. So if you have Bitcoin on an Electrum wallet, they're not going to support BCC, in my opinion, but you can still take that seed, and if there's a Bitcoin Cash wallet, you'll likely be able to import that seed, private key, 12 words, 24, put it into the Bitcoin Cash wallet, and be able to generate all of those Bitcoins. Right? How do you do that? It's very simple. I got a post. One sec. As far as Electrum Wallet's concerned, here's a post on some of the basics. You know, setting up a wallet. I talked about setting up an Electrum. You can just, at the beginning, when you create an Electrum wallet, you can just just go to my website, Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency for Beginners. And you could just post in the seed in that Bitcoin Cash wallet if they have it, Electrum wallet. So that's another option. As long as you control your own private keys, or as long as the exchange says that they're going to credit you, then even if there's not an immediate solution to get some Bitcoin Cash, there will likely be a solution on the forefront. There might be some kind of a splitting contract or special wallet, or so on and so forth, right? So that's basically the game plan. So we had a correction. Let's just look at Bitcoin and some technicals now. We had a correction, and check it out. Prior resistance has turned support, right, on this trend line. And we also had some resistance through here, which turned support. I'm not saying that it might not dump more, but I am saying that, people are incentivized to buy Bitcoin right now. And they can't just do it the last day because they could risk losing it if a transaction goes buggy. Now, we could get more shakeouts, right? I mean, whales could easily shake people out. They play games with people to get more money, right? They'll use black swan events to shake out the markets and whatever, and to accumulate more Bitcoin, right? And I think this whole thing that we saw here was a big shakeout, right? I think people were shaken out here, right? So it's all good. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm already up. I'm still up. I'm being patient. I'm still up, a solid 30% on my Bitcoin value from that dip buy. And I might get, who knows, another 10 or 20% or 30, or if it's like Ethereum Classic, wait for the Roger pump. Maybe I'll increase it by 40% on my Bitcoin, right? So anyways, it's all good. I can weather whatever storm. I'm not gonna get shaken out of the markets by shakeouts. I'm not gonna crap my diapers. I've seen it all when it comes to shakeouts and black swan events. I feel quite apathetic to them, except for the opportunity to make some money and trade it. Right? Crypto is not for the faint of heart. And there you go. right? So this is basically an update. Could we see some more blood on altcoins? Possibly. I mean, Ethereum is dumping more right now, right? And the volume on Ethereum is really, really low. 7,000 Bitcoins. The volume on Poloniex is really, really low. You know, look at this. You know, I think we're getting into that like possible bear channel. Maybe people will start selling off all their altcoins to get more Bitcoin for that free helicopter money, right? You gotta try to think the market psychology. You gotta think, you know, what other traders are doing, what market sentiment would be, right? So I personally, I'd be all over and really into another major altcoin rally, right? But you know, this chart looks like garbage to me. Okay, I like buying dips, but this looks like trash. Okay. I'm not saying it can't rally again, but it still looks like trash. All right. And you know, a lot of altcoins or whatnot, they all look like trash right now. Their prices, especially all the Poloniex ones that have rallied ridiculous prices. You know, all their charts look like big pump and dumps, right? You know what happened? Market movers cashed out and they went on vacation for the summer, and now volume and liquidity is low, and everybody's wondering, oh, how come altcoins aren't moving or doing anything? Because all the pumpers, all the market movers are gone, right? They're on vacation. They cashed out. They sold their bags at the top and suckered everybody into buying that stuff. And I was trying to warn people not to buy these ridiculous pumps, right? So now that's a different story than you know, mid caps that are kind of in accumulation, like dirt cheap mid caps that are in accumulation, in my opinion. You know, so there's some altcoins that I'm just gonna keep, that I've decided investment wise, like I'm gonna keep my CFI, and I'm kind of on the fence about the Ethereum Classic that I have, because I was gonna keep that as an investment, but I could possibly increase, you know, sell it for Bitcoin, increase it, and make 10 or 20%, and then buy it all back, and then maybe buy 10 or 20% more ETC, right? So I'm on the fence with that one, but those are really like the only two. And then I sprinkled some smatterings of some Golem, some Ripple, and some Zcash and whatever, but and some BAT, but I don't know. They're kind of breaking down a little bit. I mean, I don't know. This chart still kind of looks ugly, and I'm not so. I know I said I bought a smattering of this, but I don't know. These charts kind of look like garbage. They could break down. So I might just convert them into Bitcoin and get my free money. I don't think I believe in any of these. I'm not hardcore about any of these to you know, bag hold them. I bet other people probably sell them off too. So BAT, I might hold BAT. I mean, I'm up on BAT, but I don't know. At least this is like a mid cap that's still newish, although kind of making like a head and shoulders, but it's a liquid. Let me look at UBQ. That last market report, you know, altcoins looked like they were bouncing and such, and yeah, UBQ is like so. I kind of feel like, I don't know. I think I need to adapt and get my free Bitcoin. At least I'll know I'll probably get at least 10% at the low end. At least. Right? We'll see. I think altcoins might have a nice recovery after August 1st. Right? I think that's a possibility. So UBQ is kind of like, you know, went up and it's making higher lows, and I might keep some, but you know, like it's So it's definitely a decent project, and a retrace 78%. So on a technical level, looks good, but on a fundamental level, I wouldn't be surprised to see more people selling altcoins just to get some free money, right? Even altcoiners will want free money, right? They'll get another altcoin. Anyways, that's my hypothesis. Maybe I'm making too big of this situation. Maybe it hits the exchanges and ends up trading for like $10 or something ridiculous. And but I think if BCC started trading for like $5, I actually think I would just scoop a whole bunch of those up. Just because I know Roger has the power to pump. He's got pumping power. BCH. Let's call it BCH. So if I could scoop them all up for $5, then all right, hallelujah. I don't care. I'll put my philosophical opinions aside just to be a trader and make some money. Right? So it's all good, right? If it turns out to be nothing and it's only trading for $5, then I'll just hold whatever I have, because I'm not going to sell it for $5. I think that'd be stupid. When you have whales that are politically motivated, they can influence markets, right? I mean, whether you like Roger Ver or not, he's still a market influencer. Roger Ver is a huge reason why it took this long for all of us to scale and stuff, right? It'll at least have one rally. I haven't seen any market that was a thing that didn't have at least one rally, right? I haven't seen any. And I think this is a bigger thing because of all the political tension and stuff that we had. And I would say you probably have at least 10% of the Bitcoin community. I would say you've got at least 10% of the Bitcoin community who's probably backing Bitcoin Cash, right? So Bitcoin is the largest community out there. I don't necessarily agree with Bitcoin Cash, but I respect their right to the free market and to choose what they want to participate in and to create their own coin. And if it can bring peace to Bitcoin, then all the power to them. And, I'm going to have both of each. And I think I want to just kind of be neutral. What I don't like is infighting within the Bitcoin community. But if people want to, fork off and have their own altcoin or their own brand of Bitcoin their own flavor that they want or whatever, and as long as there's consensus on the main Bitcoin network, then I support that. And if they want to pump their coin to $1,000, then all the power to them, Go get him, Tiger. Right? Hey, how much money could we make if both of them rallied at the same time? What happens if it turns into like a combo between what happened with Ethereum and Ethereum Classic? There was a divide in the community. Ethereum went up to $400 and Ethereum Classic went up to like $20. I mean, anybody who had just kept both would have made money hand over fist. So you got to think about this. We got to get out of our emotional, crypto melodrama, right? And think like a strategist. You want to make money or you want to have salty opinions, right? I want to make money. I can have salty opinions, but you know what? I like to mix some other spices with my salt too, right? So that's basically my personal opinion on this. I just want to make some money off of this situation. I find these events interesting. Crypto is always interesting, right? It's never a dull moment. You know what I mean? There's always some interesting spice or something around the corner that can liven up our lives. And if you think like a strategist, you can make money off of these opportunities. These opportunities don't happen all the time, right? So the saltiest people, the hardcore Bitcoin maximalists or whatever, they're not profit maximalists. You know, because profit maximalists trade shitcoins to increase their Bitcoin. I guarantee you, I could outperform a salty Bitcoin maximalist holder, HODL, who just sits on their coins and does nothing with them. I guarantee you, I could outperform them dollar wise and have more Bitcoin investment just by trading, right? So I know that trading has increased my Bitcoin holdings. I know that's for a fact. They've increased it more so than if I didn't trade altcoins or didn't trade at all. So this argument of like holders will outperform traders, like I said, like holders will outperform garbage traders, crappy traders. But if you know what you're doing and you're good and you're a strategist, then you will outperform holders any day of the week. That's my personal opinion based on my personal experience. So they can have their salt. I'll take the money. So that's gonna conclude today's lesson. Cheers. I'm not called Crypto Hustle for nothing, right? All right. Cheers.